And this stuff will mess you up, especially if you're sensitive, but no sensitivity is needed for it to be a very painful experience. We have our first cool day in a long time. I mean, it's under 70, it's probably like 65 out here, and there's a nice breeze, so that's keeping everything nice and cold. Not cold, but feels cold compared to the weather we've been having. And we need this weather to go out and take care of some really nasty stuff in our pasture. We weren't able to use the pasture to its fullest because by the time we got down to the probably the last 2 or 3 paddocks that we could have used in the pasture, we found wild parsnip, poisonous rhubarb. It goes by a bunch of different names, but wild parsnip is what it's most commonly known as. And this stuff will mess you up, especially if you're sensitive, but no sensitivity is needed for it to be a very painful experience. I mean, it's worse than poison ivy, poison oak, and we want to take care of it before one of us touches it inadvertently or unintentionally. We want to take care of it before it spreads, because this stuff is notoriously very difficult to kill. A lot of sprays don't work. I know some do, but again, we don't want to spray. So what we're going to be doing is we're going to be taking some clippers out there and just clipping the seeds off from them. So these are biannuals. They only grow for 2 years, and if they do not drop their seeds in the second year when they grow seeds, they don't come back. That's our goal today, is clear this stuff out. But you want to have the proper attire on, you want to have the proper tools so you can take care of these guys if you're going to do it the way we're doing it. You don't want to completely remove the stem, because later in the year they can regrow flowers, as a persistent weed often does. So what we're going to be doing is just cutting the flower off and then sealing it in a black plastic trash bag. What do you do with it from there? I got to do a little more research. We got our pruning shears. These look like seeds here, about ready to fall. All right, so what we have here, all these yellow flowers, this is wild parsnip. If you've never seen it or never heard of it before, there are 3 distinct ways to identify it. In their second year, they bloom. This is when you can stop them from spreading. You can snip the flowers, you can get rid of those so they don't grow seeds and they don't spread. So they have, it's like a sawtooth blade leaf. Might not be exactly the right term, but you get what I'm saying there. Also grow just like this, okay? So leaves to either side of the stem, going straight up a single stem in a single leaf, or 3 leaves, however you want to look at it. All right, now that sap and any juices that come from the stalks, the leaves, anything, very, very poisonous. But you can see the ridges on this plant. Those ridges are unique to this particular plant. If you see inverted ridges like that, that is wild parsnip. Now these little picnic beetles, apparently they're not affected by the caustic sap and juices because they seem to love it. Flowers grow in an umbral pattern, so almost like an umbrella. So we'll have to probably fence this off and keep the animals out. The juices from it are extremely, I don't know if you'd say caustic, but basically what happens is you get the juices or the sap on your skin, and then that makes you hypersensitive to sunlight and gives you, it's a sunburn on steroids basically. So this stuff, if you get it on your skin, it's no good. That's why we're wearing gloves as we work with it, because it just takes a drop. If it's exposed to sun, that area will turn into a really bad burn. So if you've never heard of this stuff and you don't know how dangerous it is, it was a number of years back I heard about it for the first time. So I went looking and I found that there was a guy who got severely burned over a good portion of his body because he was out there clearing this stuff. Maybe he didn't know what it was, but it basically required that he have plastic surgery to reconstruct and repair his face, arms, legs. I mean, it was pretty nasty. The poor guy. They had set up a GoFundMe or something like that for him, and the pictures were not pretty. So you got to be so careful with this stuff. It's an invasive species. It will spread, and it will cause you all sorts of problems and trouble. You just don't want to deal with this stuff. But when it comes to your land, you gotta deal with it. We're gonna set all of this aside, wash it separately from all of our other clothes, take showers if we've got any of it on us. So this is way down low on the plant. Even though the top portion of the plant is dying, way down low you've got another little start that's got some buds that are gonna bloom, create more seeds. So that's how resilient this plant is. So even though we're cutting the stalks today, these are probably gonna sprout with new growth, come through and just mow it all. Make sure that any new growth never gets any further than that little budding stage. It knows how to survive. I'm going to do a little research. If anybody knows how to deal with this stuff, how to dispose of it, I'd much appreciate it. We've got one bag with a couple holes in it now because this stuff is so hard and stocky. I'm leaning towards burning it, but I've also heard that it can survive fire. I don't know, we'll see. Alright, so I think I got a little on my wrist. I'm not sure, but it feels very hot in the sun. We need to get this stuff on the burn pile or put away in the barn. We need to get these clothes off, these gloves. We need to get in the shower so that if we got anything on us, I know that I was touched on the wrist a couple of times. So very likely I do have some of the sap on me. We're gonna get in the shower, get it all washed off. Got the wild parsnip cleared that needed to get cleared, and we'll see what happens later this year and next year.
Today is a very exciting day. Today we've got our cousins Hayden and Sammy here. Bye. Let's go upstairs. Hi, Hayden! Staying till Sunday with one of my besties.